Okay, welcome back to watching Business Morning here on Channels Television. Globally now, we hear of businesses closing down because of inflation, high interest rates, as CBNs work to reduce or curb a surge of what they've now termed stubborn inflation. Well, businesses are suffering from that because businesses operate mostly from credit from banks. With high interest rates, a lot of them are closing shop. But how can you overcome some of these hurdles and build a sustainable business, a generational business? We have joining us in the studio Dr. Valentine Bienuse, who is a business sustainability consultant, to share some tips with us. Good morning, Dr. Bienuse. Thank you for your time.
Good morning.
So times are hard now, not just in Nigeria. We have inflation everywhere, growing, even in the United States and all of that. Is it still possible to start a business now that can be sustained?
Yes, it's very possible. It depends on how and what we feel and what we have in mind and what we set to achieve. Looking at family businesses from time immemorial is a thing of cultural thing that one family, father, pass over to children, and it has been a norm of a cultural thing. But because of issues that's coming up, recent Western culture that is coming into our environment we are trying to embrace, has been a thing that is affecting family businesses where it goes smith. You discover all of a sudden nobody has interest in such a business anymore. And look at the first business, the first generation, now businesses, second generation will see themselves as people who have come to benefit from that the family business.
Previous, yeah.
And from there the third generation will find that business no more. Now it's now left for the founding father of the business to put things in place, and all of them has,
like, what can they put in place?
Management succession planning, which is there, but have to make it a workable management succession planning.
What are some of those tips? So when you see some people start their business, maybe they started with their spouse and hope that the children will take over, you know. So what strategy can be put in place to ensure that there's a structure, you know, a management structure that can build the business, allow it to grow, and then pass it on to the next generation?
Yes, the first structure to look at is the marketing skill on how to generate revenue for that business. Once that is not there, how to capture the market, and there should be a business agility put in place to make sure that that agility will assist when there's a turbulence, to make the business to thrive, to sustain the turbulence that come effect after one thing or the other that might not be planned for. For example, a man found a business for the family that will make the business to sustain, and the name of that business is supposed to be an iconic thing that is meant for that family to be referenced with. Now, these children who were not part of the business come over from nowhere. Because it's my father's business, you made that child to inherit it. So there's what we call family members' commitment. Now, at that process of family members' commitment, there should be issue of mentorship. You have to mentor that particular family member that you want to inherit that business from you. And that same child or that family member should be part of the business ab initio. In a situation where they are not there, and you hand over that business to that person, it will now become an overflow of the enjoyment that they're enjoying when the founding father of that business is there.
What about when they don't have interest? A lot of children grow up, I mean, they have their own talents and skills.
Yes.
And they choose to go another way, not necessarily the way of their parents.
Yes. And at that point, that parent, that father should look for somebody within. For example, I can make a reference to a business where I have found myself in that environment for some time. There's no child at the present when the father retired. And there was somebody he has mentored over time who was the COO when he was the MD CEO. So he handed over to the man.
Is that still a family business?
Yes, it's still a family business because the family still control the business. They still control the business. So what is there is now the current MD to mentor any of the family members who has interest. The bottom line is the business still remains. Still generates job, still creates revenue for both the family and the government. So, which is the essence of funding businesses.
So there are some situations where you hear people say, well, somebody outside the family is giving control of the business,
Yes.
and the person, because he feels is not, related to the founder, messes up the business.
There's what we call impact. You select your team, and these persons assisting you are part of the team. Among all, you should be able to choose one that has that interest. And that person, you leave that business with the person. It's not advisable for a man to retire when he gets to 70 or 80. And if anything goes wrong, that man cannot come back anymore. It's expected for a business founder who is at the age of 50s, between 50 and 60, to step aside and hand over that business to whoever that is available, who has the vision, who has bought into the vision, who represent the brand of that business, to take over from that person. So if anything goes wrong, that man still has something to offer, and he'll come in and stabilize the system.
Okay, what about with the headwinds of today, high interest rates, inflation? What are some of those tips you can give businesses, maybe small businesses, to be able to wade through this very harsh period?
I think in that aspect, government is trying to do something to cushion the effect of whatever that is happening within the environment. Like President Tinubu has signed into released an executive order that says that issue of multiple taxation should be a thing of the past. Let us have a single taxation effect, and I believe when that comes into full force, that also will help the small businesses that are coming up, because you see local government coming up to come and harass small kiosk owner here and there and all of those things. At the same time, the state agency also are coming, and at the same time, there's still VAT, which belongs to the FRS. So if there's that harmonization where you have just only one single tax, I think that also will be a thing that will encourage the small businesses that are coming up.
All right, thank you so much for that, Dr. Bianese. And the tax reform committee has been formed and inaugurated. We hope to see that come to pass very soon. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right, we'll take a break now and tell you how Boa Cement is putting smiles on the faces of their customers. We'll be back.